All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? I am Is There No One Else? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a lovely turkey day and you're coming off that food coma or you're about ready to go into one. So, wanted to, since I have a free day off here, I wanted to post a video today for you. Wanted to come out with a Magic a Templar build, but then I realized that, I kind of, this type of thing actually warranted a video in and of itself, and so I'm going to be posting a few videos today for you guys, a couple build videos, and then a discussion on a new armor set called Fortified Brass. So this one's going to be the discussion on Fortified Brass. Long story short, if you guys went and watched, if you watch my channel and you watch me talking about the patch notes, I saw this set and I scrolled right past it. Max health. If you look at it right here on the character, on the page here, max health, physical resistance, spell resistance, and then a shit ton of physical and spell resistance for the 5-piece. It's not that it's bad necessarily, but with the way it was, like they hadn't taken shuffle away yet from heavy armor builds, and the way the game is currently designed is there's a cap of resistances where it stops kind of being functional around 32.5k. Now you can go over, and if somebody uses something like Major Fracture, that it then drops you, but the highest you can, the highest amount of resistances you can have that's effective is 32.5k. And so in heavy armor, when you wear 5-piece heavy, if you have a sword and shield, you're around 30, 31, 32k anyways. If you're in heavy armor and you just have a 2H out, non-defending, you're anywhere from 25 to 28k. So you're already pretty damn close to the cap. If you wore Fortified Brass with heavy armor, like if you crafted this, it would put you well over the cap. So as far as like a heavy armor set goes, Fortified Brass is almost useless in my opinion. It's just like Armor Master. There's no real point wearing this with heavy. Now, the question is, what would this be useful for? Now, looking at the set, obviously it provides a bunch of one thing, and so you have to kind of build around it and build that utility. And so when you first look at things, you're like, okay, well, medium armor can now wear this, and they would have the same resistances as a heavy armor build. And that is absolutely true. Now, the thing with medium armor is medium armor does lack resistances. You do get weapon damage, you get reduced cost, and you get increased recovery, if I remember correctly. Heavy armor has the Constitution passive, so it's not that they're a wash, but they're a lot closer in that regard due to recoveries. But the thing is the issue with wearing this over other medium armor, this is a medium armor set over a heavy armor set, is some of the best heavy armor sets in the game are really good for stamina. And so, as an example, if you had a choice between choosing medium Fortified Brass and heavy Ravager, or heavy Fury, or heavy 7th Legion, you're going to have the same resistances, but you're going to get a shit ton more damage out of running those other sets. And so, the situation you have here running medium is, it's not that it's bad. Like I've seen El Lobo actually put this to pretty good use on his medium armor stam DK, but in order to pull this off, you need to sacrifice something, as a medium armor build. You have to either sacrifice recovery and then run a full damage set, or you have to sacrifice damage and run more of a recovery set. Whereas like heavy Ravager, you have your resistances and you have damage, and then your next set can just be recovery and you can be more well balanced. So that's why it works on a stam DK. I'm not, El Lobo, if you watch this, I'm not knocking your build by any means. You're like, if you look at Fortified Brass and you were thinking about putting on, as an example, like a Stamina Nightblade, bow and 2H, if you put Fortified Brass on a medium armor Stamina Nightblade, you have resistances, but a lot of Stamina Nightblade bow builds revolve around dodge rolling and, doing a bunch of high damage and having high recovery, so that they can dodge roll. And so as a bow build, you're going to run higher recovery naturally, like what the meta currently is. And so you naturally have high recovery, and then you're running Fortified Brass, and it's not that it's impossible, but you're missing out. You're missing out on a good chunk of damage because you have to run recovery and you're running these resistances. And the resistances aren't as useful on a Stam Nightblade since you have Cloak and you have other means of survival. So there are a few classes like a Stamina DK where this does work well, but in my opinion, where this set really shines is for light armor builds. and I wanted to go into that. So for the last 4 or 5 days now, I've been trying to come up with a Magicka Templar build, light armor build. I was running exactly what I was running on my Stam DK: 5 Burning Spell Weave, 5 Twiceborn Star, 2 Scoria, because at the end of the day, it's fun to hit hard as shit. A lot of what works for a Magicka DK works for a Magicka Templar. So tried that out. Due to the Battle Roar passives, getting resources back, it works better on a Magicka DK compared to a Magplar. So I couldn't really work that. So I was looking at different setups, and by the way, my old setups are more than fine. Like, heavy armor is more than good, but I wanted to provide something a little bit more unique and different. And it's not that what I'm going to be providing is different or is better. It's just this allows you to be a little bit more unique. And so, in general, light armor, what they lack is they lack resistances because they're light armor. And so getting this big resistance buff is a bigger value percentage-wise for light armor than it would be for medium and heavy. They typically start off anywhere from 7 to 10,000 resistances unbuffed. So all of a sudden, when you're talking about an 8,000 resistance buff, that's almost 100%. Stamina builds, they start anywhere from 13 to 15. And then heavy armor starts anywhere from 18 to 24, or whatever it is. It's something like that. But because you have less resistances, this is going to be a bigger buff percentage-wise. And so you're going to get more value out of light armor. Now, the other thing, too, is there aren't a ton of really good damage heavy armor sets. So if you're wearing heavy armor as a Magicka build, you're wearing heavy armor because you want to survive. You don't want to run wards. You want to be kind of tankier. And so utilizing that, you have the Constitution passive, you have increased healing, you have increased health, you have increased resistances. What Fortified Brass and light armor allows you to do is have very similar resistances in heavy armor, but instead of getting the Constitution passive, you then have the reduced cost passive of light armor, plus you also have the spell penetration that our light armor provides. Now, light armor isn't going to show up on your character sheet, but that 5k spell pen, or 4885, whatever it is for the 5-piece, is so valuable. Like, if you guys go out now, and I tested this a little while ago, but if you craft like 5-piece Julianos, heavy and light, and you hit with a spell, your light armor against your test dummy, 18,000 resistances, is going to hit, it's roughly 8 to 10% harder in light armor compared to your heavy armor. Exact same setup, same glyphs, everything. So even though it's not going to show up on your character sheet, that penetration does come invaluable. And so when all of a sudden you're looking at light armor options, there's not like a super awesome, there's War Maiden. War Maiden's a really good option, but it's not like 600 or 700 weapon damage like Fury is, or Ravager, or even 500 plus a heal like 7th Legion is. Lighter Magicka builds don't have those specific types of things. So if you want to take better advantage of passives, of the light armor passives over the heavy armor passives, like let's say you like your heavy armor build, you sustain just fine, you like your resistances, but you just want a little bit more damage with what you're running, maybe Fortified Brass is the way to go. Because when you look at it, you get a lot of reduced cost out of running light armor over heavy. You get the recovery from running the 5-piece set, and you get the spell pen. So it's not just the resistances with light armor, it's also the reduced cost that comes in handy too, which means you can run less recovery. Now, with all that being said, yes, you can absolutely run this set on a medium armor build, but I think where this set really thrives, and if you really want to run this well, is like a Magicka DK or a Magicka Templar, where you want to have better sustain, but you still kind of want to be tanky. You're going to survive through block casting still, but you want to take advantage of the spell pen light armor value provides over, the heavy armor passives. So that's going to be the end of this video. I wanted to briefly discuss the set because it was interesting when I was thinking about it, and I was just like, this is one of those sets where it's like, how does this work? Like, what would this work on? Is this even useful? It does seem like a lot. And when I started, actually looking over some things, and it's not that it's better, guys. It's just, if you're like me, or, if you're a player out there that doesn't want to run heavy armor like everybody else, and you want to kind of be unique and you want to say, hey, I can pull off light armor, Fortified Brass might be an option for you. You know, I've been playing it today, and sorry, it's honestly pretty useful. You know, especially in light. You know, medium can, like I said, you know, it's not that it's not useful in medium. It's just that there's so many good heavy armor, other viable options that stamina has that Magicka doesn't. So that's going to be the end of the video for this, and then I'm going to discuss some builds, which is going to be my segue. This is my segue into my next build. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.